You know, when you think about ancient Egypt, it's this immense, almost intimidating civilization, right? 3,000 years of history, that's a story so big, so old it feels like it's been totally lost to the sands of time. And for centuries, that story was just locked away. You've got these incredible temples, these tombs, all covered in this beautiful but unreadable script. It's like the voice of an entire civilization just went silent. So how on earth do you even start to piece that together when the language is gone? Well, you get lucky. Seriously. Back in 1799, one of Napoleon's soldiers is just, digging to build a fort in Egypt, and he hits this slab of stone, and this right here, this is the Rosetta Stone. And it turned out to be the key to, well, everything. So what's so special about this rock? Well, the magic of it was that it had the same exact text carved in 3 different scripts. You had ancient Greek, which scholars could read no problem, and then 2 forms of Egyptian script, including those mysterious hieroglyphs. It was the ultimate cheat sheet. This is what let the brilliant French scholar Jean-François Champollion finally crack the code. And just like that, the doors to this lost world just swung wide open. Alright, so now that we've got the key, let's use it. Let's unlock this blueprint for a civilization that lasted for thousands of years. A blueprint we can finally read. Okay, first things first. The most critical part of this entire blueprint was the absolute total power of the king. It's an idea that created this incredible stability that lasted for centuries. We're talking way back, around 3125 BC, more than 5,000 years ago. The lands along the Nile River were brought together under one single ruler. And this wasn't just another kingdom popping up. This was the world's very first nation-state, a single unified country run from the center. Right at the heart of it all was the pharaoh. Now, this guy wasn't just a king. He was seen as a literal god on earth, the crucial link between regular people and the divine. His whole job was to maintain what they called Mat, basically cosmic order, balance, and justice. This idea, it was a superglue holding Egypt together, and you can see this divine power expressed in stone. I mean, these rulers didn't just want to be remembered, they wanted to be eternal, and their ambition was literally set in stone. You can watch it evolve right here, from the very first big stone building, Djoser's step pyramid, to the absolute perfection of those smooth-sided pyramids at Giza just a few generations later. And then, of course, you have the masterpiece, the Great Pyramid of Khufu. This thing, it wasn't just a tomb, it was a statement. It was a testament to their power, their engineering, their project management. Can you imagine coordinating a massive workforce to move over 2 million stone blocks with that kind of breathtaking precision? It stood at a mind-boggling 481.4 feet tall. That's like a 40-story skyscraper. And they built this over 4,500 years ago with ropes and ramps and pure human power. It's just incredible. But here's the kicker. It stayed the tallest building in the world for nearly 4,000 years. That is insane. And that longevity, it tells you everything you need to know about the stability and the sheer wealth of a state that could pull off a project like that. So, what was the secret sauce? What powered this incredible civilization for so long? Well, it really came down to 2 main engines. The river that literally brought life to the desert, and their core beliefs about what happens after you die. First up, the engine of life, the Nile. Every single year, like clockwork, it would flood, and when the waters receded, they left behind this super-rich, fertile soil. This meant Egyptian farmers could grow massive surpluses of grain. That grain was money, it was wealth, it paid for the armies, it fed the scribes, and yep, it built the pyramids. Okay, so the second engine was their really deep belief in the afterlife. For the Egyptians, death wasn't the end, not at all. It was just a transition to another place. But, and this is a big but, to make that journey, your physical body had to stay intact. And that's where mummification comes in. They developed this amazingly sophisticated process, this technology, really, to achieve a religious goal. They'd remove the organs, treat the body with special resins, and then wrap it all up meticulously in linen. All of it was designed to make sure the body would last forever, giving the soul a home to return to. But just having a preserved body wasn't going to cut it. You also needed a map for the next world, and that's what the Book of the Dead was. Think of it like a supernatural guidebook, filled with all the spells and instructions you'd need to navigate the dangers of the underworld and reach eternal paradise. Okay, so we've talked about god kings and giant pyramids, but a civilization is more than that, right? So who were the actual people building and running this incredible society day to day? Well, Egyptian society was super structured. It was a lot like a pyramid itself, actually. You had the divine pharaoh at the very top, of course, This whole rigid system was built for stability. Everybody knew their place, from the high priests and officials managing the country, down to the massive base of farmers and workers whose labor literally supported everyone else. But let's talk about the scribes for a sec. In a world where almost no one could read or write, these guys were the absolute backbone of the state. They were the ones keeping the whole machine running, calculating taxes, recording laws, documenting everything. That were completely indispensable. And here's something that might genuinely surprise you. Even with that rigid hierarchy, women in ancient Egypt had a legal status that was, well, pretty amazing for the ancient world. They could own their own property, they could run businesses, and they could even be the one to file for divorce. That was incredibly progressive back then. So what we have here is this incredibly resilient blueprint for a civilization, a divine king, a super wealthy state thanks to the Nile, and a highly organized society. The big question is, how long could something like that actually last? The answer, a very, very long time. From its unification way back in 3125 BC, the core of this civilization just kept going for 3,000 years. I mean, it had its ups and downs for sure. You have the Old Kingdom, the age of the Great Pyramids. Then you get the New Kingdom when Egypt was a massive empire. It survived civil wars, and eventually was conquered by outsiders like Alexander the Great and finally the Romans. But here's the really wild part. The Egyptian blueprint was so good, so successful, that even the conquerors didn't get rid of it. They just adopted it. The Greek rulers, the Ptolemies, they built temples to Egyptian gods and called themselves pharaohs. Even the Romans were obsessed with Egyptian culture. The blueprint actually outlasted the original builders. But of course, nothing lasts forever. Eventually, the language died out, the temples were abandoned, and the blueprint was buried under the sand, completely lost, until that lucky find in 1799. And it kind of makes you think, doesn't it? Our own civilization feels so permanent, so solid. But you know what? So did theirs. What parts of our own blueprint, our knowledge, our beliefs, our technology, might one day just be forgotten, waiting for someone to find the key.